Hello everyone and welcome to this video on IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, how to describe a process. And this type of question does come up quite often in the IELTS exam, so it's important to be ready for it. And there is a process to describe the process, so we're going to talk about that today in this video. And we'll of course cover the criteria to improve your score in terms of task achievement, lexical resource, GRA, and coherence and cohesion. So those are some important subject matter that we'll cover today. So as you write your text, you describe the purpose of the chart, you write an overview, and you explain the process. That sounds a little tricky, but in fact, it's quite straightforward, because if you cover those main points in this task, you can achieve a better score. And yeah, so we'll cover the method to do that today. We'll also speak about the vocabulary to explain the parts of the process that there are some words and some useful language that you need and that you should learn to describe a process. We'll also cover linking words and the passive form that is very, very important for this type of task. And of course, we'll speak about coherence and cohesion, the step-by-step format that is crucial for writing task 1 process. So what is a flowchart and what is a process? Well, you'll recognize it on test day, when you see a series of pictures, like in the diagram here. You can see some images. Now, this is quite a simplified version of a process. You may see something a lot more complex, but don't worry. If it appears really technical or very industrial, don't worry about that. You don't need to know the technicalities. You just need to be able to understand the flow and to describe what you see. That's it. And you will be prompted with some words and vocabulary that you can utilize as you write your task. Normally, the process shows how something is cooked or manufactured, prepared. It might be an industrial process, a factory process, something like that. So that's what you can expect. In terms of format for task 1, we have an introduction, normally 2 sentences, a 3-sentence overview, and main body paragraph 1, main body paragraph 2. The intro states what the diagram is about. The overview states what happens in the diagram, as sort of a summary, and main body paragraph 1 and 2 cover the main steps of the process in detail. So again, the intro just introduces the purpose of the diagram. The overview gives a review, but no detail, and you bring all of your detail into main body paragraphs 1 and 2. So how do we describe the flow chart? We'll firstly examine the graph, examine the chart, the pictures, and try to understand what's going on in the pictures. And of course, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. So if you follow the arrows or follow the motion of the images, you'll get an idea of where it starts, where it continues, where it ends. And identify the key features, because in your answer, you will summarize and report those main features. Of course, remember, this is not an essay. It's not a story. So no opinions, no conclusions are needed as you write your flowchart. This is purely a descriptive text. It's a factual text. There's nothing more than that. Yeah, so that's something important to keep in mind. So let's start with the introduction. So you need only 2 sentences, explain what the chart is about and explain what happens in the process and how many stages there are. So the good language that we can use, the good linkers to begin, we can say the diagram is about and it shows how, okay? So if we write that, if we put that all together, the diagram is about a production process. And as I examine the pictures, I'm going to use some of the words from the prompts here in my intro. So I write, it shows how a product is prepared, manufactured, inspected, packaged, and delivered. And I've written there are 6 stages in the process. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So note that I have used production, I have used the word inspected, I've used the synonym manufactured to replace produced because I don't want to repeat the same words every time. Packaged. So I've used some of the words from the pictures in my intro. And I've put those in the passive form because, of course, we don't really know who exactly did this. So I've used the passive, and passive is often the main form that we use in this type of text. Now, the overview is very important. It's the second paragraph of your text. And if you want to achieve a minimum of band score 6, you must include the overview. This is essential for boosting your score in IELTS Writing Task 1. So you need to write a clear overview which summarizes the main ideas of the diagram. And in your summary, you don't have to mention details, you're giving a summary. So let's take a look at how we can prepare it. We know there are 6 stages in the process. We know that the beginning starts with these men delivering the boxes to a storage area. And then they seem to be transported, produced, inspected, packaged. And the end part is where they're delivered in a truck. So this is what I've written. I've used a nice linker overall, and I've said, well, overall, during the production process, materials are delivered to storage, transported, produced, inspected, and packaged before being delivered to customers. So that's a very simple overview. And now if we move to the main body paragraph, we are going to describe what happens in each stage in the diagram, right? So each stage. So this is where we bring in a lot more detail. And it's easier sometimes if you just write it in steps initially. So I've put everything in 6 simple steps. 1, workers deliver raw materials to the storage area. 2, the materials are then transported internally by forklift to the production area. 3, the products are manufactured. 4, the products are then inspected to ensure they comply with quality standards. 5, they are then packaged and prepared for delivery. 6, finally, they are transported by truck to the client. So those are my 6 stages. Now, I don't want to write it like that in the essay. I need to use cohesive devices because this is writing task 1 IELTS, and I need to show that I can write in a coherent manner. So what I've done here is I've added some really nice linkers. So firstly, next, in the next stage, after that, then, and finally. So these are great linkers that you can use in every every flowchart that you write about. So it's really important that you remember these words because you will use them. You will use them in describing the process. So yeah, so try to use also the passive form. Again, we don't know who transported the products. We don't know who manufactured them. So you can see I have used are transported, are manufactured in each sentence. So those are your linkers. You will use those in every process that you describe. Passive form. Well, how do we make the passive? In this case, we're speaking in the present form. You may have to use the past in your exam, but for the moment, we're focusing on the present. So is or are for plural with the verb plus ed at the end. So that's the passive form. Your object, the product, is manufactured. Plural, the materials are transported. Okay, so it's maybe useful to do some grammar exercises on the passive to help you get ready for those. And here are some phrases that we use in the text in passive form. This is our final draft. Let's read through. The diagram is about a typical production process. It shows how a product is prepared, manufactured, inspected, packaged, and delivered. There are six. There are 6 stages in this process. Overall, during the production process, materials are delivered to storage, transported, manufactured into products, inspected and packaged before being delivered to customers. Firstly, workers deliver raw materials in boxes to a storage area where they are stored in boxes in a warehouse. Next, the materials are transported internally by forklift from the warehouse to the production area. In the next stage, the raw materials are used to manufacture products on a factory line. Then, the finished products are carefully inspected by a quality control manager. During this stage, the products are checked to ensure they comply with quality standards. After the quality inspection is completed, the products are packaged in boxes, labeled, and prepared for delivery. Finally, the packaged products are placed in trucks and delivered to the client by a transport company. So there you go. You have about 155 words, but you can write more, but don't go under 150 words. You must write a minimum of 150 words. So that's it for today. Just some final remarks. Make sure that you give yourself enough time to prepare, write, and go over your text. Remember, you only have 20 minutes for this text. So give yourself about 3 minutes to prepare, and that preparation is examining the pictures and understanding the steps of the process. You can write down some notes if it's a paper-based test, and you have about 16 minutes to actually write, 15 or 16 minutes, and give yourself a couple of minutes at the end, 1 or 2 minutes at the end, to go back over your work. Okay, so look, I hope this has been useful for you. Good luck in academic writing task 1. Follow the format, follow the ideas here, and you will be good to go. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.